Hi, welcome to another video at Wallet Wisdom, and today I'm going to be talking about bank account types. Now, you might be thinking, what do you mean bank account types? You just have a bank account, that's how it works. And, well, you would be surprised to learn that there are actually different types of bank accounts. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because before you can really think about topics we've covered, like investing your money or saving it, you have to know where you're going to invest it or where you're going to save it. And where you can invest it does mean things like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, which we've talked about, but it can also mean the account types that you put your money in. So, in order to define bank account types, I have to define what a bank account is. And a bank account is just where you put money which the bank keeps safe for you. Or, it doesn't technically keep it safe. What the bank does is it takes that money and invests it. But as far as you're concerned, it is a place where you put money and then later you can take out that money. Sometimes you get interest, sometimes you get other benefits. Sometimes it's just a place for you to keep money. Now, bank accounts, are incredibly important to help you manage your money effectively because they stop. First off, they stop theft. Second off, they allow you to invest your money, and third off, they just provide a secure way to keep and organize all of your funds. That being said, I want to start with talking about savings accounts specifically. Now, what is a savings account? A savings account is a type of bank account that earns interest. Now, its main purpose is to, well, save money. It's where you would, any money that you put away for savings typically goes into a savings account. Pretty simple. But why am I saving money here? What's the benefit? Well, typically, savings accounts have interest on the money that you put in. We've talked about interest before, and we've talked about how much compound interest can be an incredibly important factor to building wealth. So, with a savings account, you put in your savings, you get interest back over time. You can access these funds every now and then in case of emergencies and future plans, but that does bring us to one of the limitations. There's typically limits on either how much or how often you can make transactions with these. And compared to some of the other investments that we'll talk about, the interest rates are relatively lower. So you might be thinking, wait, this is great and all, but where do I keep my money? Like the money that I'm going to use? Like, where is that? Well, let's talk about checking accounts. Checking accounts are accounts that are made for your transactions. That's where the money that you spend is going to be, right? The money that you would otherwise have in your wallet. Basically, your on hand money, right? Easy to get. That's what a checking account is. Now, of course, there are benefits to checking accounts as well. These can be having debit cards because, again, it is the account that you actually get your money from. Um, Online banking, and just overall, checking accounts are the easiest to use because you have to use them the most. Because in your day to day life, you use them. Again, since they're built for day to day life, they're built for frequent transactions, and it makes managing your finances pretty easy. However, that being said, you might be like, oh, why don't I just put all of my money in checking accounts? I don't want to have to deal with savings accounts where I can only take out my money every now and then or only take out a certain amount. The issue with checking accounts is that they earn almost no interest, and if you spend too much, there's a lot of fees that you can find. So, first off, you have to budget very carefully, and second off, not getting any interest means that you're losing out on the investment and growth possibilities. Now that we've talked about savings accounts and checking accounts, those are the main two that I would say are most important to understand. However, there are some specialized accounts. Given that this channel and a lot of my content is geared towards students and teens as a whole, I want to start with student and teen accounts. Student and teen accounts are designed for younger individuals. Like I myself am 16, so my account is a student and teen account. So I have lower fees. My dad oversees mine, and these accounts are intended to help teens learn money management while also building like financial foundations, which means that they have many benefits. Um, Typically, you have little or no monthly maintenance fees. I myself have no monthly maintenance fees. I have easily accessible online banking and savings tools, and it's overall a very easy to use platform as well, which is incredibly helpful when you're just starting to learn how all of this works. Next, I wanted to talk about what are called CDs, and no, I don't mean the kind that you play music on, I mean certificates of deposit. Now, certificates of deposit are a type of account where your money gets locked away for a bit. As in, you put in money and you don't get to access it for a year, 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years, depending on the account. Which might sound bad, but they have um they have very high interest rates or return rates, and it makes it incredibly important for the sake of investments. Let's talk about some, as I said, the pros include higher interest and predictable returns because you know how much you're going to get back. But the con is again the fact that you don't get to actually manage that money. So you have a restriction on liquidity. Liquidity is ease of access of your money, like how liquid it is, can it flow in and out of your pocket almost. But it's very helpful for short or medium term saving goals. Or in the case of teens, short and medium, what is considered short and medium for adults is often medium or long term goals. Uh, Finally, I want to talk about money market accounts. Money market accounts are kind of the crossover between savings and checkings. They have better interest rates than checking accounts, but they allow more transactions than savings accounts. They have the main goal of promoting saving while still allowing someone to use it as their daily account. So, as I said, you have higher earning potential, but you also can write checks or get a debit card for this account. However, there of course is a catch, and that is that they have higher minimum balances and they may also have limits as to how much money you can make transactions with. Minimum balances is a minimum amount you need to put into the account or avoiding in order to avoid a fee. All that being said, there are many different account types, and I can't really go and recommend one because it's important that you spread your money across all of these eventually. And in order to figure out what you want to start with, you have to think about how you need to use your money. Of course, savings and checking accounts are the two most important, but I would also recommend looking into the other three and many more. So, without further ado, thank you.